Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Make Music Income's Music Review Tuesday. So excited to be here with you and talking about more people's music. I continue to be so impressed and so inspired by the composers that are sending us MP3s to review on Music Review Tuesday, as well as so many people that I see on Discord. And if you don't know about our Discord and you're watching this later, I haven't put the notes down here yet below, but make sure you sign up for our Discord on the replay. And I really should have that up here while we're talking. But if you're watching this on the replay, you will see the information down below, or you can check any of the videos on Make Music Income on our YouTube site and see information about how to get our Discord. But I'm just continually just so amazed by people and just people who just completely just send me songs to review, and they are fabulous. So today we have another 7 or 8 songs that we're going to get through in this hour or so, and I want to get right to it. There's no reason to wait. Let's see who's coming into the stream. Arco is here. Hello, Arco from India. Thank you for being here today. Arco was in our Mastermind class on Monday. And again, that's another thing that you can look at our website. If you just go to MakeMusicIncome.com, you can see that all the things about our Mastermind. And we have a Mastermind every Monday at noon, where we talk music licensing, and Arco was part of that. There is White Beam Studios from Sweden. Welcome. I'm glad you're here, White Beam, as usual. Max. There's Max, and we're going to be talking. It's Max from Thursday. Yeah, Max, we're going to be doing this on Tuesday. How about that? You get 2 days sooner than you thought. So looking forward to hearing your song, Max. Arco as well. Hey, and there is our friend John. John, so happy to have one of your songs today, and we'll be talking about that here in a little bit. White Beam says, I really need to get my act together and submit for review. You really do. We need to get just a song from you and see what's going on over there in Sweden at White Beam Road Studios. I'm excited to see that. So thanks everybody for being here, especially those of you who are going to have stuff reviewed today. Very excited. I think our first song up today is by Dave Gilden, and I'm not sure if Dave is with us yet. Dave, if you are in the comments, please let us know. I'm going to be holding one of them for later in the day, and I think it was Andreas. He said he doesn't usually get to the live stream. I'm not sure if he's working or what, but he usually doesn't get to the live stream in time. So yeah. Oh, cool. Max is from Kazakhstan. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Another side of the earth, but I think that is just so cool. Just making sure everybody can hear me well today. I still have this odd 2 mic setup, but that's just because I want to make sure that I broadcast in stereo for the songs. What I have to say is important, and this is just the way I have to hook it up in order to go stereo. I'll figure that out one day when I have the time. And as many of you know, time is the thing. Hey, there is Frodo. Welcome, Frodo. Thanks for coming today. Frodo's got a song up. So a lot of people are here already that have songs up, and I wasn't sure if Dave is going to join us today or not, but we'll see if Dave is joining us. We also have a song by Matt Little, or Lytle. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that. Song by Alexander. Music for Stories, or John Doe, as he goes by Music for Stories. Marks, as we talked about. Frodo, Arco, and Andreas. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting day of coming up and listening to each of these songs and just talking about and maybe discussing them in the chat as well on what these songs are good for. What's their best use? And some of you in your comments, in your emails, I'll read those comments, and you've told me what you think they're best for or what you're going for. and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the good. Please, if you're commenting, let's make sure. Hey, Love 3, thanks for joining us, Luca. Make sure that you may say something critical. In other words, you may say something in the comments that you think the song needs. But the rule is, Malinez, there he is. Thanks for joining. The rule is you must also say something positive. So if you have a comment that at all might seem negative, make sure you say something positive as well. So you have to equal those comments out, because criticism is important, but positive and constructive criticism is what we're after here, trying to help you get to the next level with what you're doing, trying to make music income, which, by the way, not sure if you know, it's the name of this channel, and just trying to figure out ways to get the music that we're going to be talking about. Hey, how are you doing, Canal? What's up this morning? At least it's morning for me. It's probably not morning for many of you watching this. So I would bet we are split across the ocean as far as people watching today. So yeah, let's get to the first song. No reason to sit around here talking amongst ourselves. So the first song we're going to listen to today is a song by David Gilden. It's called On the Download Hollywood Edit. So let's get to it, get to listening, and see how this sounds. All right, I'm sharing. Can't stop me. Here we go. All right, On the Download sorry, I keep saying holiday. On the Download Hollywood Edit by Dave Gilden. Here we go. Sorry, let me restart that. Very cool. Man, I love that. It's got a really nice kind of sound to it. All right, everybody stop. So let me listen to this again for the intro just a little bit. Yeah, Dave, I really like this. I think it's fun. I think it is. It's very useful for like uses in. I could hear this behind a film or behind a scene where there is a something going on where there. Why is it not showing the whole thing? Let's just close that. Where it is showing some like detectives running around, almost in a comedy type thing. Max says it sound and atmosphere are great. Max also said feels like some of the instruments are out of timing sometimes. You know, I'm not sure I agree with that. I understand. I think here's the problem. This is almost like a dramedy piece where it's so ruled by strings and percussion, like alternate percussion, like not drums, that you've got this kind of, you really need to remember where one is. That's why I need to listen to the beginning again so I could tell where one was. And one is in that strange place. So it seems a little out of timing if you just come in listening to it in the middle of it. Frodo says, love the instrumentation, very unique sounds. Agreed. Lucas says, cool. It reminds me of some like old 70s detective films. Yeah, or I would say 80s, actually. It really sounds like something out of Fletch or some of those. Canal says, looks like a Honolulu music ambiance. Okay. Everybody hears things differently. That's what I love about this. White Beam says, I love the groove. John Doe says, on the download, great title. It's actually on the down low, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's see what else. John Doe says, I thought it sounded great. Yeah, exactly. Max says Ocean's 11. That's and John Doe agreed, bang on. Yeah, absolutely. It is. It does sound a little like a caper film, where these people are sneaking around and doing stuff like that. I noticed it's only about a minute long, so I assume that means that this is the 1 minute edit or something. But for something like this is only going to be used for a few seconds or for a scene. And a scene is not going to go on for 5 minutes. So it might only need to be used for a little bit. And because it's so, you could use it over and over again. And I assume since this had the word Hollywood edit, he means this for Hollywood use. And I certainly think that it fits that as far as I'm concerned. So good job, Dave. Very great way to start us out with this unique kind of film sounding atmospheric track. It sounds really cool. I think, regarding Max's comment about the timing, yeah, I think if you come in the middle of it, and I almost wonder if the only constructive criticism I might give because of this is that it has something else keeping the time, like almost like a clock or something like that, where Frodo says, is there a genre or label for that sneaky sounding music? Well, it's kind of on the dramedy side, but maybe there probably needs to be a label for sneaky detective cop show music, but this really, if you listen to what the pizzicato strings and the things going on in this, it's got that dramedy feel a little bit. You might even hear something like this in like a reality show where someone is sneaking around, and so I think it could go even there as well. If anybody has any other thoughts, let me know. But if not, we're going to move on to the next song. But great way to start, Dave. Thank you so much for sharing that, Dave. Let me just talk about what Dave asked about in his notes here. Dave said, let's see. Well, he didn't really ask. He just wanted to get in on the reviews. He did not really give me anything to listen to. So I think that's what we said was good. And Dave, I hope that was helpful for you. Max says there are syncopations here, and that's great. Only syncopations out of grid sometimes. Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that, Max, necessarily. I think it's just that there's no, we have a saying in Nashville, and that is, I want to know where one is. I want to know where one, and we sing it. I want to know where one is. I want to know where one begins. And with something like this, that starts so mysteriously, and let's look at that. Just this is just for education for everyone. You can tell. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't think there's anything. The vibraphone little bling bling. It's purposely kind of doing that thing where it's offbeat a little bit. As far as I'm concerned, that's the way I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it as really kind of doing that on purpose. And so that's the syncopations make sense to me personally, but I can understand if they don't make sense to you because they are a little crazy. Is anybody's screen going black and stuff for the shares? because I'm seeing that on my screen. Let me know. I don't know why it's doing that, and it might have something to do with sharing the screen. But everybody can hear okay. Everything sounds good. Arco says, I like the groove. Let me know out there if the tracks are playing well and in stereo. I think they are. I tested a little earlier today, and they were. So, all right. Well, let's move on to, yeah, Frodo said he's seeing a black screen. I'm not sure what that's about. And Max says, just my thoughts. Yeah. Thanks, Max. And again, that's, I think that's good for Dave to know that it has a little bit of syncopation issues for people who are listening. And one thing to remember, and I talk to my students about this all the time, I talk to you guys about this all the time, the world doesn't know what's going on in your brain. They don't know where one is, and you do sometimes. The other thing we have to remember sometimes is that people are not musicians. Most people. They're not weirdos like us. They are people who just like to listen to music. And this sometimes can even go for your clients or for people you are creating music for. Not necessarily music library owners, but sometimes there could be music library owners that are not musicians. And they just know the feel they're looking for, and they know what they like. Everybody has something they like, and some people, great, thank you, Max. Some people, you know, may see things they like and hear things they like because it makes perfect musical sense to them. Other people think not everything makes sense to everybody. So it is important that that you have a beat that everybody's going to realize. But yeah, I think that it's just something that we're going to have to remember. So anyway, let's move on to the next song here. And our next song is by Matt. I'm going to say Lytle or Little. I'm not really sure. Sorry, Matt. If I'm just going to say Matt from now on. So let's try the share screen again and see if it freaks out on us or if it works good. Because I'm watching my iPad over there, and I can see what it's doing. And we will listen to Motown Funk by Matt. I do not know why it's not playing, but hopefully you'll be able to hear. All right, good stuff. Yeah, I do have some things to say about this one. Let's see what everybody else has said here. So Matt, thanks for being in the chat. So Matt Lytle, thanks for joining us today. Lucas says, powerful bass groove. Here, let me take out of that because it looks like if I start talking and I lose it. Powerful bass groove, says Luca, and everybody likes the bass. Arco also says, wow, that bass sounds great. And Canal says, nice one. Everybody loves your bass here. White Beam, nice bass. I would like a little bit more punch when the guitar comes in. I'll talk about that in a moment. Lucas says, maybe the brass needs some more attention in the sound, but it's really cool. Agreed. Agreed. I think my thoughts would be, first, Matt, that, you know that thing you do at the end? I would love to hear that in the middle somewhere, where you kind of come down for just a minute. You've got a 2-minute plus song here. I think after a while, that initial thing kind of gets old. If I'm not mistaken, it pretty much stayed in that the whole time. Let me look at that one more time and just listen a little bit here in the middle just to make sure I know what I'm talking about. Let's start doing it. Yeah, because the bass start is cool. I think somewhere around here, I would love to hear it go to this, actually. Like, ba-bum, ba-bum. You could just use something like that in the middle for a couple bars and then get back to the groove building up, because it's kind of a slow burn build through the whole thing, and I know that's probably what you meant to do, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I like the way it starts. Love the bass. Still, I don't know why it's blacking out there, but I'm going to just turn that off anyway. But love the bass and the guitars. You're definitely a talented guitarist, and that might be what your specialty is. Regarding the brass, I think one of the problems is they just sound really flat and fake, and I think that just has to do with effects. I think someone said Max said brass could be wider in stereo. Canal said, I think it should be a brighter brass, not so clean. Yeah, everything seems, except for the guitars that are left and right, everything, and the drum set, which is kind of spread around, everything seems kind of down the middle, especially when the lead kicks in and you've got that brass happening. Everything is right there in the mono. Everything is right there in the middle. And that brass might be better if it was cleaned up, if it was a little bit more, maybe some reverb might help that. Spreading those horns around, if there's any way to get a second horn sound. I don't know if that's one horn patch, but what you might consider is a second horn patch, and then putting them on both sides in the stereo spectrum somewhere where they might have their own place. I think the drums are good, but I also think they could be a little stronger. I think they could be a little. There might be some attention that needs to be played. They're a little loose, but again, this is a rock song, so they don't have to be so tight. But if I was critiquing anything, it probably wouldn't be the bass or the guitars. It would be the brass and the drums, personally. This is just for me. And I guess Matt hits the Logic Studio horns. Yeah, they're good. But I might call it two instances of them and use two different versions. Like they have one kind of studio horns and they have another kind of studio horns. And I just worked with some of them lately. And to get them to sound real, you have to kind of mess with them a little bit. But I don't think they sound bad, but they don't sound real, obviously. And Max says, very cool riff on the bass and on the guitars. The track just needs a little order. Sorry, I have a dog that is whining. So hold on just a second. I'm going to play another song here, but we're almost done talking about that. Drums are Logic's drummer. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the drummer, but I get it. It sounds good, and I understand how and why you're using it. But I think, and for drummer, that sounds really good. But I think the problem for me more is the way everything is down the middle, especially once the guitar solo started. It just gets a little bit dense in that middle section there. And so I think that that's the part that I would kind of look at. And again, put some reverb on the brasses. Make sure the drums go back to the, it's all good. It's got a really nice rock feel to it. But tell me, Matt, what your uses are. Maybe you stated that in your email. I'll check your email here real quick. Tell me what you think this is going to be for. I want to see if it's good enough to be accepted by stock libraries, and if there's any advice or feedback. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think this certainly could get in stock. My personal feeling is sometimes solos, like long solos, can sometimes just make it a little hard to use underneath people's vocals. So if you have people who are talking in a YouTube video, a solo might, so make sure that if you do submit this, you also make a version without the guitar solo. Because I know guitarists love to do solos, but I would say solo-wise, you need to make sure that it makes sense for you. And so anyway, all right, well, let's play a song. So Matt, to wrap up my comments, I like the drums and the guitars and the bass. Everybody loves the bass. I think the horns need some work. I would try to find a way in the middle of the song to have a little B section, a stop for just a minute, and then go back to that bass again, and then build it up again for that last minute. That might be something that will help you with stock libraries especially, but even sync libraries that are looking for rock and stuff like this. You're on the way. So yeah, Matt says, I'm just new to the whole thing. Well, if you're new to the whole thing, you're doing really good. Yeah, and I could see this in commercials, certainly. I could certainly see it in commercials, no doubt. So, all right, let's now go to, and Matt, if you want to ask more questions, feel free, and everybody who I review today, feel free just to email me, and you can always email me at MakeMusicIncome@gmail.com. Gmail.com. Yes, I can type. Just email me right here and you've already emailed me, so you know this email address. But feel free to email me with further questions, and we can talk offline about it. All right. Well, my dog is in need of me, so I'm going to play someone else's song here and listen as we play it. And this is Alexander's song, Happy Earth Day. And let me just share that screen, and we will listen to Happy Earth Day by Alexander. Let's listen, everybody. Happy Earth Day by Alexander. I want to go back and listen to that bridge real quick. Okay, I'm not so sure that's a bridge as it is a breakdown. And this is exactly what I was talking about in Matt, in your song, that I think you could have certainly some kind of breakdown like that. And let's get rid of that screen. And I think that is that's a very corporate thing to do. It's a very stock thing to do, but all uses, like if you're going, this could be used in a TV show, like for an upbeat reality show or an upbeat show where it's showing all sorts of scenery of people doing stuff and different things happening. I think that could certainly be used in this. I think that it's, one of the comments back here was, sorry. Yeah. A lot of people said the hi-hats were too loud. Maybe. I didn't hear those in my phones. But it seems to be something you might be wanting to look at this, Alexander, because a lot of people are commenting on that. Didn't sound like that to me. I think it was Max who said something about that it sounded a little too MIDI. But I think this is the answer. What Malinez says here is that nice corporate style with a touch of 80s synth pop. And to me, that's what I heard when I first heard this song. I heard it as almost like a synthwave type of thing, where it's supposed to sound 80s and it's supposed to sound older MIDI. And this is where everything starts to go crazy in this whole business, because we think, oh, we've got to have the newest sound, we've got to have the newest strings, we've got to have the newest this and that. But to me, this sounds like if on Stranger Things, they were all out playing for the afternoon and they were running around chasing each other and having fun. I don't know if anyone's seen the show Stranger Things on Netflix, but it's set in the 1980s. And if this song was behind everybody running around and chasing each other and having fun, and they were having a fun day, this would be perfect for that because it's got that 80s kind of feel. Max says the atmosphere of the track is perfect for stocks. Maybe. Yeah, I think it's perfect for just about everything, because I think this could be ads, I think this could be commercials, I think this could be TV shows, maybe even movies. John says definitely a nice corporate track. Yeah, it's really hitting all the bullet points, right? It does a lot of things, and it does them very well. As far as the track, nothing popped out at me. If I listen to it back again, yeah, I can see where people are saying stuff about the hi-hats. That might be something to look at, Alexander. But yeah, like Lucas said, the 80s are the empire of MIDI sounds, no doubt. I just was introducing MIDI to the class I am teaching now last night, and it all starts in the 80s. MIDI begins in 1983, and it continues through the 90s and just becomes a thing that people use for sure. So really nice job, Alexander, and I think this is something that could be used very much. Let me make sure I'm addressing any Alexander's questions. Alexander says, thanks. Please review this track. I composed it for stock, but I am not sure the synth I am using is a good choice. The track is happy and poppy, probably would get accepted into Pond 5, but I am not sure other exclusive libraries would take it. Again, I think you have to frame this, Alexander, as a track for that's 80s synthwave. I think if you write down 80s synthwave in the description, you instantly resolve yourself of any of the sounds. In other words, once you tell people this is an 80s track, then suddenly the MIDI sounds issue goes out the window, because everybody is like, hey, this sounds like the 80s. The sounds are old, but it's an 80s song. And boy, let me tell you, all those decades, starting in the 20s, starting in the 1890s, but every decade of the 20th century has a sound. And back then it was cool, and now it might be out of favor. But I think 80s synthwave pop is very in vogue these days, and certainly usable in the television shows and things out there that are about the 80s. So my advice, Alexander, would be to keep this exactly the way it is and sell this as a synthwave pop. An 80s, make sure you write down in the description, 80s synthwave pop. And I think this is a 80s synthwave corporate pop. I think it would work on all libraries that way. And I also think it would work possibly for TV and film. So a lot of ways to go on this. Great job, Alexander. And thank you so much. And let's continue now with our next song. We're moving right through today. We're going to go to a song by our friend John Doe, the mysteriously named John Doe. I have literally known someone named John Doe before, but John is also known as Music for Stories, and this is his song, Calm, and we're going to listen to that now. Let's go over and see what Calm. Let's all just do a little bit of meditation here, get calm with John's song, and let's see what it sounds like. Here we go with Calm. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I think that's very nice, John. I like the intro. Obviously, like someone said, Max said, it's just awesome. It's beautiful. I am a big fan of piano music. I'm a big fan of ambient music. I make a lot of it. So um, my issue is about at 1 minute. It seems like the piano begins to meander just a little too much, and a meander, especially when the beat comes in, the piano does not seem to be in in time with the beat for me. Now, that might just be my ears, and I might just need to go back and listen, but where I would look at this is from where the beat comes in to out, everything needs to kind of lock in a little bit more. The beat's fine. The mood is fine. The other thing I would say is it would not hurt this song, and let me see how long it was. Yeah, it's almost 3 minutes. It would not hurt you in this type of song to put a break in there sometime. Just something that stops about a minute and a half in, maybe, or maybe at 2 minutes, and then and then we have some kind of thing to come back to it and end for that last minute or so. Just seems like it needs a B section, or at least a pause somewhere. And you heard me say this about Matt's song. You heard it happen in Alexander's song. I'm just a fan of. Now, there might be some producers slash creators who find this song on wherever it is, Pond 5 or Audio Jungle, Emotion Array, or whatever, and they say they would really like to have, they'd really like this to just sit there just doing what it's doing and not change and keep going because they're putting it behind some space thing. But I think in order to keep interest, if you're looking for people to listen and use this, I would think about a middle section. I don't know what other people think about this middle section thing of mine. And it's not an obsession, but I just think, now, if you're talking about uses for like ADSR and relaxing and calming music and music for people who are trying to sleep and things like that, then this is probably fine. Love the heartbeat kind of drum thing that comes in. Max says, yes, a little breakdown could be nice, but without it is nice too for him. And I agree. I think it's going to depend on the use. Maybe you could have two different versions, one with a breakdown and then one with not, and one could be the ambient, non-ambient continuity version, and then the other one could be another version. But Frodo says, very nicely composed. The kick drum is awesome too. Not sure if I'm hearing some timing issues or if that's just hiccups from the stream. I'm not hearing the stream, so I'm hearing the actual song. And for me, to me, it's the piano that's a little bit out. It's just like the piano seems to meander a little bit in the beat. And I know it's being very played with emotion and things like that. But for some reason, when the beat happens, the piano seems to be a little out. Not the beat, but the piano, at least on my first listen. John says about his own song, I agree, more reverb. I was doubting myself whether to have a break in it. Yeah, I would think you could keep both versions, John. Save this as version A, make a new session, or copy the session and make a B version that has a break. I would also, again, look at the piano and make sure that it's not too far out of the beat. I mean, it doesn't have to be right on it, but sometimes it's hard to tell if you're trying to do triplet type feels or if you're just out of rhythm. And if there's ever a question like that, then there's something wrong with the rhythm. But it's a very cool idea. It's perfectly named. And I really love the ambiance of it. It's great for ambient music. It's got a very nice sound. Our friend Genuine Free Willy says, nice, the bottom end sounds great on my monitors. Yeah, very distinctive and hypnotic. Absolutely. It just starts so beautifully. And very good job, John. Thank you for sharing that with us today. All right. Let's move on. Oh, and by the way, someone asked earlier how do you get a song on here? What is the email? And the email is pretty easy. Let's say it together. MakeMusicIncome@gmail.com. That's actually my website, but you can find it there as well. But everything, one of the reasons why I bought this whole domain and this whole channel was because I found out MakeMusicIncome.com, Make Music at Gmail, Make Music everywhere, Make Music YouTube, Make Music every place was available. So if you want to submit a song, I'm always looking to start the weeks at least with new people. For instance, with Dave, with Matt, with Alexander, with John, with Max. These are Noop and Andreas, all people who are new to the Music Tuesday. And also, starting next week, we're going to try something a little different. Yes, that is the email for the review. So send me an MP3 and send me a note about the song and what you'd like me to talk about in it. Let me see also if John had mentioned anything else, or did I talk about that, John? John, piano focused. Yeah, I love it. And it's been available on SoundCloud, soon to Spotify. Cool. This version is currently on Pond 5, Dreams Time, Deposit Photos, and Motion Elements. Way to go. John also says, this calming piece of music, I use 100% free instruments. 80% of it is Spitfire Labs. Very nice. Pizzicato cello is from BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover Library. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And the bass was with TAL Noisemaker. The goal isn't to get rich or even to make money. When I discovered through Stephen Mellon's channel, Daniel's, and mine as well, that getting music on streaming platforms and in stock libraries was mainly free, I had to take a chance and do it, throwing myself all in. Who the heck wouldn't take a crack at making a little money with absolutely no financial investment? Yeah. This is an upcoming video about stock. I hate to make this channel only about stock music, because I think that I love stock music in the way that it is a great place for people to start. It is a great way and a great place to start making some income with your music. I think, though, it's easy to get caught up in how competitive it is, or how low paying it is, or the weirdnesses of libraries. But I probably got a video about that. Isomatic says, I'll try to submit in the next couple weeks. Excellent. Would love to hear that. And you as well, Canel. So love to have all of you guys, and all of you guys. And when I say guys, I mean guys and gals. I just say guys a lot. I lived in Chicago for a while. You're lucky I don't say y'all, which is what I was raised to say in Kentucky. But anyway, well, thanks to everybody who's joining us. We've still got more music to listen to, and next we are going to listen to a song by Max. And Max has been very active and giving some really great feedback to these songs in here. Thank you, Max, for being part of these sessions. I really appreciate people who come to these sessions and leave such good, creative, and constructive criticism. And criticism's not a bad thing. It's just you want to be constructive with it. That's the most important thing. And the most important thing you can do for anyone you meet and you hear their music is to give them something constructive that they can work on to make it better, and then tell them the things they're doing awesome as well. And that is just something nice to do. And you'll find that you find more clients if you are a producer, and you are talking to artists, and artists want to know what you think of their song. Make sure you say nice things, but also helpful criticizing things. Max left a funny comment here. He said, friends, maximum criticism. Max wants max criticism. Please don't hold back, but constructively. Yes, absolutely. So let's now, without further ado, let's listen to Max and his song today, called Action Energetic Indie Rock. That's a very audio jungle sounding name there. Or I think Motion Elements likes names like that too. But let's take a listen to Action Energetic Indie Rock. Get ready. Here we go. All right. I didn't have anything to say until the very end. Actually, the last maybe fifth of the song. Um, yeah, Frodo is right. The title does not disappoint for sure. Let me get rid of this here. The title does not disappoint. Really great sections all the way through. I mean,